Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today War Within has, or I guess has gone to, went to beta. With it came a lot of changes to Affliction, some talent tree pathing changes, some, I guess, fixes to 2-point talent nodes, some talent swaps here and there, a minor nerf to Avatar for Destruction, but the Overfiend is working for Destruction now. Dogs have been changed, like your purple and red dog, for Demonology. They are half a minute now, all that. So we're going to look at that today, look at the changes, also, tier sets were also revealed today. So we're going to look at all the changes, break down tier sets, and then also show you guys how to get working add-ons on beta. It was the most asked question by 8,000% on stream today. Do it at your own risk. I don't have anything bad on my computer, but point being, you get to download a file. It's my add-ons from beta. I'll have a section of it in the end of the video if you want it. If not, don't worry about it. But with that being said, let's get into it. Oh, also, we'll look at combat and things, damage testing in a video probably in a day or so from now. It's too long to put it all in the one video, but breaking down changes, all that, let's get it going. Alrighty, so getting into the class changes here for Warlock. Most of today's changes are based around Affliction. Destro got one change, a minor nerf the Overfiend, but spoilers ahead, he's busted. We'll look at him in a little while. So, Dark Harvest. Basically, they moved a lot of talents in the tree, condensed some nodes down. We had 9 2-point talents in last week's build. Now we have 5. There's still a decent bit left. Pathing is still a bit more awkward compared to Destro and Demo, but they have 0. We'll look at the tree in a minute here, too. Dark Harvest has been moved. This is the haste crit strike increase whenever you cast Soul Rot. Death's Embrace has been moved. Empowered UA has been removed. This is the one that reduced cast time and gave you a shard or a chance to do it. It's been redesigned, essentially. They made it perpetual instability. Gives you the same cast time reduction, and whenever you cast it or refresh it, it basically does damage. Realistically, this gave you very little shards. There was like 3, like 1 a minute. I think it was roughly, when I looked at it in logs, it was pretty minuscule. Wasn't really worth it. Was not good enough for a capstone. This is also likely not very strong. We'll see where it goes, but likely not the best. But either way, we'll get to that. Malignancy has been moved and made a 1-point talent from 2. It is at the rank 1 value at 1 point. Improved Malefic Raptures moved as well. It's also at the rank 1 value, but 1-point talent. Malign Omen has been moved, not removed, but moved. This is the one that increases dot duration whenever you Rapture when Soul Rot is active. This is the new UA change thing here, whatever. Ravenous Afflictions is also new. Crit strikes from your Agony, Corruption, and UA have a chance to grant Nightfall, so a lot of Nightfall procs potentially. This is a plus to Soul Harvester as well. Soul Harvester, looking game here, has a lot of interactions with Nightfall. I mean, you have Necrolite Teachings giving you Nightfall in general. Nightfall increases damage of Shadow Bolt and Drain Soul by 50%. Procs here, consuming Nightfall activates Shared Fate, increases souls. A lot of synergy here with Nightfall, a lot of it. So that's solid, a lot of Nightfall procs. Even for Hellcaller, if you're playing AF, still a pretty solid choice. Moving on from there, Relinquish has been moved. Soul Rot has been moved. Withering Bolt has been moved and made 1 talent rank at its rank 1 value here. And to a similar extent, Xavius' Gambit is also at its rank 1 value. And, you know, it's in a similar spot. Once again, new tree. Destruction. They have made the avatar of Destruction your Overfiend, not your Infernal anymore. I think it's gone. Launch Chaos Bolts at 80% effectiveness, which is very strong. Still, we'll look at it here. He's going to be tuned, but he does work. Very cool to see. Dimension Ripper, just a text change, basically. Fear and Gateway have been reduced mana cost wise. I have 0 idea why. But some changes to AF, and not too bad. Also, tier bonuses came out today. We'll get to that in a minute, but I want to show you the AF tree first off here, and then we'll get in the tier because every spec, right? So here is the new AF tree. We'll swap to this view here. Now, essentially, what you're looking at is a similar design in the middle here when it comes to like talent points, with 2-point nodes being Cold a Weak, Contagion, Malediction, 2 points being here, Dark Virtuosity, and Kindled Malice. But a lot of, I mean, all your capstones are 1 talent point, and they've been sort of condensed down where the bottom of the trees feel surprisingly pretty solid for like single target versus AoE. The top part feels okay-ish. It's more in here, I think the problems still sort of lie, but it's definitely better than it was before. So I want to construct a single target tree, an AoE tree, and then, you know, look at tier bonuses, right? So single target, now, Obviously, UA, Wrath and Agony. So you have the option here of like Siphon Life, you'll want Nightfall. Now you have, this is where I think the first problem sort of lies. It's once again, it's hard to like adjust this because you want a baseline number of talent points in your tree. But Kindle Malice and Dark Virtuosity are still 2-point nodes. And essentially, I want both of these in single target. AoE, I don't really care about Dark Virtuosity, but I mean, Kindle Malice, a rapture damage increase by 4% and 8% at rank 1 and 2, and 10 and 20 for corruption, also being Wither, is pretty strong. And this is more so in the AoE side of the tree, behind Seed. So when it comes to single target, I'm investing points likely in Seed to get to Kindle Malice, and then likely a point here in Dark Virtuosity is what I'm guessing. Now, you could just skip this and path into Volatile Agony and like this instead to get, like, you know, down to here. We're getting 2 points here, but you're leaving out points in Kindle Malice. I don't think you want to. So I'm going to put points in Kindle Malice. This unlocks the next, back up here a bit, right here, and put 1 point here. This unlocks the next row. So you're going into Singularity and Single Target, Infirmity for that damage increase for PS, grabbing Summoner's Embrace, grabbing Shadow Bolt or Drain Soul. It's likely Shadow Bolt in single target. It might even be Shadow Bolt in AoE Mythic Plus, but we'll see where that goes. Grabbing Haunt, grabbing Shadow's Embrace, likely grabbing Dark Glare in single target. It's not a great cooldown. I know, I get it. It needs to be changed and buffed. I'd love to see it whenever it spawns, increase the tick rate your dots as well, while giving a duration extension. But in the end, being here in this spot, it's very likely worth it, but we'll see where it goes due to like Oblivion, duration during rapture windows and dot extensions, so on and so forth. Grabbing 2 points in Malediction, 2 points in Contagion, and then you're in an odd spot here as well, because Cunning Cruelty is currently very strong in single target and AoE. It's going to get nerfed, very likely, so I'm just going to put this point over here in Cold a Week, because it's a rapture damage increase. I think one of the problems with this tree is that you have a lot of rapture increases. I mean, you've got like rapture increase, rapture increase, rapture increase, and you want these in single target as well as AoE. Obviously, Cold Week is better in AoE when it scales to 40% at rank 2 and 5 targets, but having an 8% increase in single target is still relevant when you have these stacking, you know, Kindle Malice with Cold a Week, with Malefic Rapture, Improved Rapture, with everything else in this tree that builds upon it as well, right? So we'll get to some feedback later on this weekend, but I think we can probably trim these Rapture nodes down a little bit. But I think this is a good node to have either way. I'm putting a point here. We'll see where it goes. I am skipping Improved Haunt. The damage increase is not really relevant, I don't think. And yes, it is nice to apply Shadow's Embrace via Haunt, but I think it should just be baseline in Haunt, honestly. I think this is more relevant when it comes to damage. You could pull Dark Lair as well and just toss it into like Cold a Week, but you got to find a way to path into Contagion at that point. And honestly, you got to go into Cunning Cruelty at that point as well, which makes it a bit awkward because once again, well, you're spending a point, you could be down here, right? So I'm going this way currently and just leaving that where it's at with 1 point here. Also want to mention that you might want this if you're playing Hellcaller, because Corruption is Wither, and increasing Wither damage is strong for a plethora of reasons. But we're going to go with this for now, move to the bottom. I think the bulk of the issues, or like, I guess, remaining problems lie in this part of the tree for single target, but we'll see where it goes with it being 2-2-2 and this being awkward. Getting to the bottom here. So we have Soul Rot being moved up a row, which is nice. Easier to access, essentially. Middle of the tree, solid. Malign Omen is behind Dark Harvest, which is only... I mean, I'm not going to play this in single target, I don't think. Malign Omen being your dot extension. It's nice to have in single target, but at the same time, I think it's more relevant when it comes to like AoE, multiple dots rolling, extending them all when you're rapturing with Soul Rot. I like it in both scenarios, but I don't think you're playing it if it's behind Dark Harvest. Maybe they can swap these around. I don't know, but it's probably awkward having this here instead of, you know, here, with it being, you know, based around Soul Rot. But either way, Soul Rot, grabbing Crescendo, obviously, grabbing Creeping Death. They've moved Death's Embrace right here. I'm hoping this is in prep for changing Death's Embrace to be what it used to be with the old 30% ramping execute. That version of Death's Embrace is very good and worth a capstone. This is not worth a capstone in the slightest. But we'll see if they change that. Either way, putting a point in CD, putting a point in Xavius' Gambit, grabbing Oblivion as well, grabbing Malignancy, skipping this. I don't think it's really worth it in single target. Heading over here, grabbing Improved Rapture. You need it. Grabbing Malefic Touch, and then grabbing Withering Bolt, and the last point going here in Relinquished. Now, this point can float a bit and go into like Ravenous Afflictions or whatever. This is a very low proc rate. I believe it's 0.4 procs per minute. Probably gets buffed, but right now it's pretty subpar. Could go here. Probably don't need this with Hellcaller, but even if you put it here or put it here or wherever you want, this changes to like, you know, being the good one later on. You get most of the elements you want for single target in the bottom here. I don't really care about this a whole lot. It's whatever. Reduced cast time on UA is not a big deal. Even refreshing it is sort of mediocre with the damage it does. You refresh once every 15 seconds. The big of a deal. Shard gen with Hellcaller is pretty well out of the way. I don't really care about this a whole lot. So you get most of what you want in single target here, right? Which is solid. The larger issues are in this part of the tree, with like Dark Lair being a bad cooldown, with Haunt or Improved Haunt being awkward, worth it, but like, is a quality of life worth a point? Probably not. And having not enough points to get this, and this all at 2. And then up here as well. But overall, an improvement for sure. Feels better. Solar Out being higher is solid. And in general, I'd say it's pretty good. I'm going to activate Hellcaller here and just save these talents so we can have a build for later on. Once again, we'll look at combat in a video probably tomorrow, give or take. A lot to put in this video. I don't want to overload you all. Single target. Spelled it wrong. That's okay. We're going to go into an AoE build here too. So let's do this. New build, AoE. These talents here are just whatever. Just got thrown in. I don't know why, but I'm going to reset this. So we're going to go AoE. So UA, Seed, Kindled Malice for Rapture increase, 1 Absolute Corruption, Writhe and Agony. I'm skipping this. I'm grabbing Volta Agony and grabbing Nightfall. That feels better than single target. I might have to grab both of these. Pretty mediocre in AoE, being Dark Virtuosity. Heading down more, grabbing Vile Taint, grabbing Summoner's Embrace, grabbing... I think it might be Shadow Bolt with Nightfall procs for Soul Harvester versus maybe Drain Soul for Hellcaller. We'll see. Grabbing Drain for Shard Snapping, all that. I don't know if you want Infirmity with Vile Taint. I don't think it's good enough. Higher stack count on Vile Taint's probably not worth it. Worth a point with all the options we have here, right? Grabbing Cruelty when it comes to volleys and AoE. Grabbing Sacrilash, likely. I want to grab Contagion, Malediction, and I want to grab Call of the Weak. So you have 1 point left here. Now, the question is, where do you put it? Because you're lacking in single target, likely not having Haunt, or Improved Haunt, or Shadow's Embrace, or even Dark Lair for those windows every once in a while, right? Do you put it in Infirmity? Do you put it in Shadow's Embrace? Do you put it in Haunt? You could just pull Sacrilash and go like this, which does work for more single target, but this is working with Wither and Hellcaller. And in general, not bad in the first place. I'm probably going to opt for something like this and just see where it goes. Skipping Dark Lair, skipping Malevolent Visionary. You could go like this. Dark Lair is not an incredibly strong cooldown. It is stronger with Malevolent Visionary in AoE. It's a 2-minute cooldown though. At the same time, if you want Visionary, you got to use one of your 10 points to your capstones to get it, and that feels bad. And you're still missing points in Haunt and Shadow's Embrace. I think this is better overall for how the spec will function and flow in Plus, but we'll see where it goes. Getting into the bottom here, though, feels pretty good. Soul Rot, Dark Harvest, Malign Omen, once again giving you dot extensions without Dark Lair feels pretty solid every minute with Rapture. With Soul Rot, I'm sorry. Heading into Crescendo here. Keep in mind, Rapture just Bender and AoE now, so that's nice to have around. Grabbing Improved Rapture, more damage, reduce cast time. Then heading over here, Relinquish for Shard Gen, possibly, seeing where it goes. Grabbing Creeping Death. And honestly, at this point, I'm probably going into Malefic Touch because it does cleave each target it hits. You've got 2 points here. You can sort of put wherever you want. You want more single target, you can go like Withering Bolt, you can go Malignancy, or, you know, Gambit, whatever sims higher. Honestly, depending on how Oblivion lands, you could even do this for that like strong Cryo Funnel swap to Oblivion. You can go like this for this more passives. This is not very good as a capstone in its current form. Ravenous is sort of mediocre, and this I don't think is very good either, but you get most of what you want in AoE, and you get some single target elements too. The bottom of the tree feels pretty good when you have 10 points available. I think the problem once again lies in here more or less with these 2-point nodes, and the fact that you want these Rapture increases in Rapture, in Improved Rapture, in Cold of the Week, in Kindled Malice, and you're also going 2-2-2. And you can't get like Dark Lair with Visionary very easily because they're all 2 points. And you also have Improved Haunt here and everything else. Up here feels fine for AoE though, because you're not taking this. But bottom of the tree feels pretty good. Middle, a little clunky, but getting better. And up here is, I'd say, better overall. So 2 solid trees, talent-wise. I'll put a video out later this week as well, looking at talent builds on Alpha. A lot of videos coming out. But overall, I'd say this change to AF honestly is pretty solid. A much better spot than last week. And we'll see where it goes in the future. All right, so getting into tier bonuses here for Affliction, Demo, and Destro. They're all passive and relatively simple, but I assume we get something like this because in S1 and Dragonflight, Blizzard didn't go crazy in depth on dimensional rifts and CDFs and changing rotations a whole lot because they wanted you to get used to new talents and things, which The same case I expected with hero talents. Lo and behold, a blue post today mentioned just that. They're giving time to use new talents and abilities, not giving you a talent that alters your rotation based on hero talents in the first patch. So all pretty basic, but there are some interactions for each spec with Warlock that are a bit more intricate. AF 2-piece Rapture damage increased by 5%. Rapture buffs, once again, stacking buffs matter. And its crit strike chance increased by 10%. Pretty strong. Okay, 4-piece though. Malefic Rapture has a chance to increase the damage dealt by your Agony, Corruption, and UA by 15% for 8 seconds. This reminds me of Dread Touch a decent bit. It sort of is Dread Touch, but a chance to do it. Now, you will Rapture outside of Rapture windows, obviously, and you're gonna, if it procs, great. If it doesn't proc, whatever, it is what it is. You'll want a weak aura to track it, obviously, but you're not gonna overdump shards to maintain this buff permanently. I doubt it. But I heard it had like a 65% up chance, or uptime, from Splat earlier. Looks pretty decent. Obviously, a lot of talents that buff your dots, Contagion, Malefic Affliction, or Contagion, Malefic, whatever it's called. Wrong spec, but same thing. The 2-point nodes here that increase the crit strike chance and then crit strike damage, Contagion and Malediction, I believe. Some interactions there, I guess, with dot stacking and all kind of stuff. Interesting to see. It should be fun for the most part during your Rapture windows. It'll just be active because you're going to Rapture a bunch. But outside of that, with Hellcaller, if you've seen it, you have insane shard gen. And even putting that aside, playing Soul Harvester, likely pretty good shard gen as well. So not bad passive, but relatively interesting. Now, when it comes to Demonology here, passive as well, your primary demon deals 5% increased damage, your Felguard. And your Shadow Bolt damage increased by 50%. There's a lot of Shadow Bolt modifiers for Demonology. I get the memes, Shadow Bolt, I get it, I understand. But this is a large increase to Shadow Bolt. Plus, your Shadow Bolts are actually really fast as far as Demonology is concerned, cast time-wise. I don't know what that flashbang was, but through Rune of Shadows and things like that, a lot of stacking damage increases. So, just keep that in mind. Through this, through Saxels being here, so on and so forth, right? The 4-piece, Shadow Bolt has a chance to enrage your primary Felguard. Apparently it works with the Grimoire too, probably bugged, increasing their damage of the next Legion Strike by 300%. Apparently the buff is permanent right now, and not clearing whenever you cast Legion Strike, so we'll look at it tomorrow in a combat video. I'll be streaming it as well, obviously, beforehand. But either way, passive, but strong, good in single target, good in AoE. Just solid all around. Felguard being a large portion of your damage overall. Passive, once again, solid. And most classes as well have the same thing, with passives being part of their bonuses. I mean, Shaman, Pharaoh Spirits last longer, damage increase, healing increase, so on and so forth, right? When it comes to Destro, things get a little more interesting. Still passive and all that, but some interactions here. So, the 2-piece, Incinerate crit strike chance increased by 20%. This adds value to spells that modify Incinerate damage. Burn to Ashes, number 1, being one. Conflagrate crit strike chance increased by 25%. So, just higher crit strike chance on Conflagrate and Incinerate. The 4-piece, when Conflagrate critically strikes, your fire damage is increased by 5% for 6 seconds. So like a miniature like Roaring Blaze buff on you. So basically you have your crit strike chance being, I don't know, 15% early on, whatever, plus a 25% increase here, which is 40% essentially on Conflagrate. So relatively high uptime. The more you're geared, if you stack crit, higher uptime, obviously. At the same time, keep in mind, you also have Conflagration of Chaos right here. Conflagrate and Shadowburn have a 50% chance to guarantee your next one critically strikes. It increases the damage of your crit strike. It gets more damage increased by your crit strike chance. So this should potentially work with Conflagration of Chaos. I'm not sure if it'll count just like, I don't know if like the damage increased, or the crit strike chance increased to Conflagration, good lord, it's late, to Conflagrate right here will matter, or will factor into the damage increase on Conflagration and Chaos in the bottom half here of the ability. It probably doesn't, but either way, the crit strike chance on Conflagration is going to be, Conflagrate, I am tired, but on Conflagrate, it's going to be pretty high. You can grab Conflagration and Chaos just going through EP. You don't even need to path through Shadowburn anymore. This is not a relevant build. It's a starter build. Don't worry about the talents here. But so they are all baseline abilities, but there's some synergy there, right? With Conflagration of Chaos, with Contagion, with Malediction, with Shadow Bolt and Demonology and all that, and basic Felguard damage. So A lot of it will be sim stuff, but in the end, then overall, honestly, man, it still seems like it's pretty solid. Passive ones, and being real, like, yeah, it doesn't modify abilities a crazy amount, but Warlock is still a lot of fun to play with Hellcaller, Diabolus, Soul Harvester, and all the new talents. It's not going to feel like you're lacking anything, right? All right, and I'm going to try and briefly show you here Destruction's new Overfiend. He scales with haste. He has no ICD. You can get multiples out. He launches a lot of Chaos Bolts. I've lost like 15 characters today to DCs and everything else. I have some keybinds here. This is not an optimal AoE rotation, but we're going to play Wither with Hellcaller, all that. He spawns whenever you get Ritual procs, which happen through Blackened Soul, and also Malevolence, giving you more haste, just 10 stacks of Ritual, all that, so on and so forth here. So, I'm gonna go in, Wither, put up some Withers, why not, who cares, 1, 2, 3, 4, put my Infernal down, gotta click it because no keybinds, put up my Havoc, gonna Conflagrate, Rain of Fire. Cast some Rains, I'm lagging a bit, hopefully it comes back. There is one, where's the Overfiend? There he is, pop my Malevolence, there's one. There's 2 Overfiends, there's 3 Overfiends spawning about now, they're launching Chaos Bolts, there's an army of Overfiends spawning, they all give Shard Gen, we're chaining, there's like multiple Overfiends coming down, this is utterly insane. They keep launching Chaos Bolts over and over and over. The damage breakdown here, in case you're curious, I'll pull it up for you. Hope you like Chaos Bolt. It's actually really cool. He scales with haste. There's currently a bug where he'll launch like 10 Chaos Bolts, like the old Tyrant used to do with a flailing arm. It's sick, man. He looks really cool. Overfiend is awesome. And yeah, he might not be as good as like Avatar was when it comes to stuns and things, but the Shard Gen he brings, Chaos Bolt he launches is really strong. It's very likely they cap him with an ICD because you're going to have Seeds procs from Rituals giving you multiple Overfiends, so on and so forth. But Warlock just feels really good in combat. All right, and the last thing here is getting functional add-ons on beta. If you don't want to do this, you're nervous or whatever, don't worry about it. It'll likely be functioning in a couple of days. If you want working add-ons, I am not incredibly smart when it comes to this stuff. I can't program the space shuttle, but I can tell you how to get them to work. Do it at your own risk. I don't have any viruses. It's a regular zip file. It's literally a copy pasta of my add-ons folder from beta. If you want it, go into my Discord in general chat. It is pinned right here. Click on this. It's going to say it's spooky and scary. If you don't trust me, don't download it. It's okay. It's fine. If you want to do it, it'll download to a zip file. It will look something like this with an add-ons zip thing or whatever. Open it up. There's going to be another add-ons folder here. What you want to do, take this add-ons folder. You want to go to your Warcraft folder, which is right here for me. Find the beta file. Do not go into retail. It'll break your add-ons. Go into beta. Find your interface folder. Find your add-ons folder. And what you can realistically do is just delete this add-ons folder. This is just from earlier. Or drag the actual add-ons folder, the unzipped version, this one, into here and just have it like replace things, or realistically just delete your old folder and drag that one in. What it's going to do is import the add-ons that I have on beta right now. It is Details, Weak Auras, SEF is broken. It's actually not even here anymore. Details will spit Lua errors at you. You got to disable them. It's half working. It is what it is. Weak Auras will work. This is the file that fixes add-ons from what I understand. It was given to me by Hopeful. He's a mage. Future mages, blame him if it doesn't work. But that's how it works for me. If you don't want to do it, or you're scared, or you're afraid, or whatever, it's a-okay. But that's how you do it. That's how I did it. If you want to do it, there you go. So, hopefully you liked the video, guys. Thanks for watching, and that wraps it up. Like I said, overall, I'm relatively happy with the AF changes this week. A couple things. Pathing is still a little awkward in the middle of the tree, but it's better, for sure, and it's getting better. And honestly, playing AF, I played it a bit, on stream and everything else. It actually feels pretty solid. But a couple things changed, make it a little better overall. We'll see where it goes. Lock looks fun, though, so far, and we're within beta now. I keep saying alpha, but it's beta. And yeah, things keep improving, so we will see where it goes long term. Once again, the add-ons section of the video, if you missed it, you can skip back and find it if you want that working on beta. I would assume they're probably working soon in general anyways, if you just want to wait. At the same time, any weak auras add-ons on the video, links to my Twitch and Discord down below are up for free for you guys. And also, videos ending at the end here, like always, a massive shout out to my patrons. We're also put on Patreon, y'all. Thank you a million times. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. Now, there wasn't really anything change-wise to demonology. this week, which I think Demo's in a pretty solid spot. Obviously, the dog, demonic core nerf, and all that is something needs to, I think, be looked at. But as far as like enjoyment, thematics, and all that, Demo feels pretty good. Even Destro feels pretty solid. We're gonna update feedback this week as well, this weekend. Now that we pushed, they pushed beta and all that, but Demo and Destro feel pretty good, pathing wise, rotation wise, and even, I mean, app feels great rotation wise too. Pathing a little awkward, but hopefully it's much better, pretty solid overall, and hopefully a couple more changes here and there will make it great. So we'll see where it goes. All that being said, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all again on stream. Peace.